The flat tax man cometh. Republican contenders propose their own tax overhauls. Whose has the most going for it? I'm Alan Barton. Stand by for the front page.
Central to my plan is giving every American the option of throwing out that 3 million words of the current tax code, and I might add the cost of complying with all of that code, in order to pay a 20% flat tax on their income. The best representation of my plan is this postcard. This is the size of what we're talking about right here. Taxpayers will be able to fill this out and file their taxes on that.
All right, I really wish he could put more than about 3 or 4 sentences together without, without a major catastrophe in the language or vocabulary choice. All right, joining me in the studio, Yaron Brook, president of the Ayn Rand Center for Individual Rights, and Terry Jones, associate editor for Investors Business Daily. Terry, what do you think on Perry's plan? Well, is it actual reform, or is it actually creating more chaos? He's saying you're going to have to choose, so now everyone's going to have to pay to figure out which one. It's like AMT.
Yeah, it's the same.
Now then, it's a third tier.
Same with the Gingrich plan. But you get to choose, but which means you're going to have to fill out your taxes twice. Yeah. Although one of the times will be quite easy, but still, you shouldn't have to choose. That should be the tax code. The other problem is you'll have a lot of people gaming the code, so you will probably have.
Yeah, because he keeps under 500,000, right? He's keeping the various popular deductions. Yes. So it doesn't. It's a flat, but still warped by.
It's flattish.
It's flattish. Yeah. Now, is that? Are we heading in the right direction?
Well, it's better to be flat and low than progressive and high. This also has, for instance, has a $12,500 personal deduction and other things that actually make it more progressive than it seems. So, it's not a flat tax, it's a flattish tax, but it would be a major improvement.
You're on?
I mean, yes, it would be a major improvement. An advantage of it, the nice thing about it for people like me who don't believe in taxes, is that nobody will pay more, right? Everybody pays either less or the same. But it is ridiculous, right? And my accountant loves this. Because he gets to do scenarios, and if we did it this way, if we did it that way, there's just more work for him.
Do you think that's part of the underlying thing about the option, is that they don't want to like piss off all the CPAs across the thing?
No, I think it's this criticism of the Kane plan, which is that some people, indeed quite a few people, might actually pay more, and they want to be able to say nobody's going to pay more. But you know what? The fact is that it's inevitable as you change the tax code that some people will pay more. And in my view, the key here is to stop using the tax code for social engineering. And Perry's plan doesn't quite do that. So I would like to see a plan more like Kane's, that takes away the interest, the home mortgage deduction, takes away, the child deduction, takes away all deductions, and therefore gets out of the business of the government telling you, own a home, don't rent a home. Do this with your money. Spend it on healthcare. Don't spend it on that stuff. Let's just get to the point where the government, yes, it needs to tax.
But that's all the fun that they have, Yaron. That's all the fun they have in Washington.
Yes, I want to take away the fun from being from politicians.
Why do you think there are 50 billion words in our tax code? Is because of the fun they can have with it.
No, because they're evil and they want to manipulate my life, and I want to destroy that.
Stop, you're a pessimist. Some people, including DNC Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz, not big supporters of the flat tax. This is shocking. Let's take a look at what she has to say about it.
Rick Perry's new old plan is that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. This is not a new idea. This is not something that is proposed for the first time. A flat tax has been introduced in the past, and it's been rejected because it overwhelmingly blows a hole in the deficit. Rick Perry isn't proposing anything to address that. How would he pay for this? On top of that, it helps almost exclusively the wealthiest, most fortunate Americans.
I am moved by her concern for the deficit. After all these years, she's worried about blowing a hole in the deficit. What has your party been doing for the last 3 years? Oh, okay, control yourself.
you see the amount of blinking she did?
She was
blinking constantly.
But there's the political point here is that it feels as though no tax reform is going to go through if they can sit there and say the rich are having their taxes cut. Yeah. So does any tax reform necessarily mean that the rich get their taxes cut? Because that seems to be the bitter pill that gets whipped and demagogued and could, regardless of what they're proposing, won't get through Congress because they can say the rich are getting a better deal.
Well, it did happen in the 1980s, and it can happen again. You just have to have a person who's very good, very good at sugarcoating what's going to happen, and that is that right now we have almost 50% of people not paying taxes at all, and those people need to be paying something, quite frankly. We've removed far too many people from the tax rolls, and they need to be paying something, and one of the ways to do that is with a flat tax. You know, and it'll probably, you know, what's politically possible and what's ideal are two different things. What's politically possible is a flattish tax. And that would probably do it. But, you know, the problem you always have is there's always going to be class warfare, and people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, whom you pointed out, said...
Very concerned about the deficit. Has always been concerned.
Without any sense of irony whatsoever about the party that brought us $1.5 trillion deficit.
Perry's proposal does have a balanced budget amendment by 2020, I think, and a major cutting in government spending as part of it, so that this whole blown deficit...
But no details. He says, I'm going to cap spending at 18% of GDP, which is way too high. I mean, there's no reason the government has to spend 18% of GDP. It's insane. You know, and he doesn't show you how he's going to do it. So how is he going to do it? Because Medicare and Medicaid are about to explode.
What about Ron Paul, though? Because his cuts are specific. I want to cover these because he came out with his own plan to cut federal spending and taxes during his first year, 1 year in office. Here's the plan. $1 trillion out. Eliminate 5 cabinet departments, foreign wars, slash taxes, kill the death tax, privatize TSA, repeal Dodd-Frank, Obamacare, and Sarbanes-Oxley. Now, Yaron, you've always been a fan of Sarbanes-Oxley, so how do you feel about Ron?
Well, look, I don't like Ron Paul for a lot of reasons, but this is a great plan. This is a plan, you know, everybody should be endorsing, except for the one where it's foreign policy stuff about ending wars, which is, you know, yeah, there are some, like, we shouldn't be in Kenya and Uganda right now, and foreign aid should be cut, which I think he believes in. It should be eliminated. But I completely agree. 5 government departments, I could probably find 7. You know, he wants to cut $1 trillion. It would be fantastic. I think that's exactly what that's the kind of plan that you can propose. And then we can talk about taxes. To me, the Republicans have it reversed. Leave taxes alone. What we really need is a serious plan to dramatically cut spending.
And I think the talk about spending is popular. I think a lot of people would agree with the idea that we are spending too much money, and the tax code becomes instantly like sort of Byzantine and confusing, and everyone just kind of checks out. What do you think?
Yeah, people are very upset about spending, and they realize it's gotten out of hand, but they don't realize quite how much it's gotten out of hand. You know, and I've said this before, but since 2007. 40% increase in spending. If we just went back to 2007 levels, we could balance
the dark ages of 2007. We didn't have roads back then, Terry.
No roads, no TV.
We didn't have roads. We didn't have an electrical grid.
Steve Jobs wasn't even born then.
Yeah, we barely had a.
See, I want to go back to 1907.
We barely had a functioning modern society. By the way, Gingrich had a plan out this week. Gingrich, by the way, is running for president. That's him.
No, he's not.
No, that's him right there. No, he's still in the race. There's a bunch of them still in the race. All of them hovering between about 1 and 5% support. Terry, do you know anything about the plan in terms of its to compare it to Perry's?
It's a lower tax. It's a 15% flat tax. He also gets rid of all capital gains taxes, which is a good thing. He gets rid of the death tax, which is a very good thing. And he has a much smaller exclusion, personal exclusion. But the main thing that all the flat taxes have going for them is currently our corporate tax is about 35%. Yeah. They all cut corporate and business taxes way down low, so that would spur investment and job creation.
The one thing that's good about this is I do feel that there is tax reform coming in the next 4 years. One would hope that some form of a little saner system.
Can we take a bet that it won't be a simple flat tax?
I think
I'm putting money on the table right now.
Strongly. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. For Yaron, Terry, I'm Alan Barton. You've been watching Front Page.